Does this feel like the 4th season of our podcast?
It does. It feels like we have a 4-year-old. We just celebrated our 3rd birthday, I guess, or 4th. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this would be our 4th birthday. This is when
we're starting the 4th season.
Yeah.
But every season isn't a year long, so
I know. I've always thought that. If it's weird that it's not like we wait until.
Maybe it's in like podcast years.
It's like it's like the Kardashians. They don't wait each year to.
To do new seasons. Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's like the Kardashians. I was thinking it's more like dog years, where like multiple years fit into 1 year.
It's like a
Kardashian dog.
A Kardashian dog, yeah.
We'll tell people who are listening about the 4th season and how it will be different.
So after the 2nd season, we had interviewed a decent amount of people. I think like 24 people.
Yeah.
And the 3rd season was a lot more stripped down. It was just you and I talking shorter amounts. And this season, we will be publishing 2 episodes a week.
Correct.
A little bit shorter. A little bit more concise. We'll see if we can do it.
Right. We're calling them shorties.
Shorties.
Is that right?
Yeah, I like it.
2 shorties per week.
Yeah, 2 shorties per week. And you're listening to this episode maybe... Well, I don't really know when you're listening to it. It lives forever. But we'll release them Sunday and Thursday.
Correct.
And they will have just some structured segments to it.
Yeah, we thought of what are the type of topics that we always want to be covering, but sometimes it didn't fit into the flow of discussion, and so this will give us a good structure to always fit in the things we feel like talking about.
Yeah, and structure works for us. It's not something that we have to have at all times, but I think it helps us to be a little bit more creative. Yeah. So the first episode, the one you're listening to right now of the season.
Episode 1. The Phantom Menace.
Season 4. Is that Star Wars?
I think it's a Star Wars.
Okay.
It's an early Star Wars. Someone who's listening right now who's a Star Wars fan is like very frustrated.
Is it a Star Wars fan or Star Wars fan?
They're just a fan of... I don't know. Star Wars. I think the title is plural.
Yeah, so you keep it.
But would you be a Star Wars fan?
Definitely.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think definitely. Okay. The first, basically this episode that will be published every Sunday will be about dealing with a problem. So problems to deal with, things that we're facing, our clients are facing, our members, because we have a membership, what they're facing.
Yeah.
And we can kind of break it down and talk about it.
Yeah.
And so we're excited about
Let's do it. Cool. Let's do the first one.
All right.
Because this is episode 1, so we should do the thing that we're telling people we're going to do.
And not just talk about it.
We should start doing it right now.
Okay. So today I want to talk about feeling like something needs to be perfect before you share about it.
The problem of perfection.
Yeah. Because it is a problem.
And explain where this comes from. Like where this came up.
Well, we were hosting a workshop here.
Yeah.
And there was a panel.
Yeah, it was a panel and it was a big Q&A. A lot of people interacting, sharing their ideas, thoughts.
Yep. So someone in the audience, I could say it was an audience. There were over 50 people sitting there.
Yeah.
They were talking about the need to perfect your brand or your logo before putting it out there.
Right.
Getting it right, make sure it's perfect. And I looked at you. I was sitting in the back and I looked up at you. I
didn't even know this was happening until you told me afterwards.
Adam was shaking his head vigorously no, but didn't say anything. And I knew that
my body was having a visceral reaction.
Yeah. You and I think the same way, and a lot of people who we work with or on our team feel this way. Matt, our developer, always says, I always forget.
Perfect is the enemy of the done? The perfect?
Of good?
No.
I don't know. Of done?
Seth Godin says perfection is the enemy of good enough.
Got it.
Matt says perfect is the enemy of done.
Got it. Which are proving our point.
Right, yeah.
2 very smart people plus us. It's 4 smart people, so that's a little smarter. It's fine. But we very much feel like things don't have to be perfect in order for things to be finished or for them to be shipped or sent or published.
Put in front of people.
Yes.
Get some eyeballs on it.
To the point where we probably have published a few typos in our day.
Most definitely we have done that. I have done far more than you.
Right. but I have done myself.
Most definitely you have done that.
You've
done it on some printed materials.
Yeah, I have received a business card from my lawyer with his last name spelled wrong.
Right.
But we both approved it.
Yeah. So you typed it and it was spelled wrong, but then he saw it and he was like, good.
Yep.
And I mean, it's not hard to fix that and reorder some more.
Right.
It's memorable.
Us. Yeah.
I always remember his name.
And what it isn't. So, let's talk a little bit about how this plays out and where we see people waiting for something to be perfect. Where have you seen it in, like...
Definitely. Every person I've ever coached, typically people either run way ahead and they don't pay attention to details, and then they have to come back and correct some things because they got sloppy and they just started doing stuff, which is fine. What happens more often is people sit at home and try and plan everything about their business or about how their website should look or about everything about their brand, and they end up not doing anything because it's not good enough yet, so they don't share with anybody and they don't get to move forward. It's mind-blowing to me the number of people I work with in a coaching relationship who can talk about their business in very elaborate details, but then when you look at, they're not putting a lot of things out there. When you look at like what they're actually doing.
Yeah. It's like in their brain.
It's in their brain, but what they would want to put out isn't perfect enough yet.
Yeah.
So they don't do it.
Are they comparing themselves to like their peers? Are they just like their own personal standard?
No, they're not comparing themselves to their peers. They're comparing themselves to people who have been around for like 20 years and are crushing.
But I guess I even worded that incorrectly in a good way. Like they almost see themselves as like, I should be where that person is. It's almost like identifying their peers in a wrong way.
Yeah. But don't you think some of it's just them or us? Because this is a struggle.
Everyone has.
Perfection is a problem. It's not something that we have overcome.
Yeah.
There's how many things did we talk about today that we've been talking about doing for years?
Yeah, a lot.
And we haven't done.
Right.
And we should just shut up and do some of it.
I mean, this podcast is a really great example of that.
Yeah, we had
one
it forever.
in that we talked about it forever, but then we put it out before we had our audio mastered.
Yeah.
We still don't have it mastered, but like we just publish.
We just keep trying to master it a little bit more. And I think that's the whole point. Like, I think if we stop and think of, I want to be really good at this in 2 years, or I want our branding or our logo or our photography to be awesome in 2 years. Or if I was a different business, if I was like one of my coaching clients, that's one of the things they get stuck on. They don't jump onto social networks. They don't tell people about their website. They don't do all this stuff because their brand isn't there yet. Their visuals aren't there yet. And like, just start doing something.
So in the context of how this whole topic came up, I think we were talking during that workshop about this idea that you couldn't change your logo later. Like it would be like too detrimental.
Yeah.
And I personally find that to be false because one, no one cares. No one, if Nike changed their logo, people would probably be like, have an opinion, but it's not like they cease to exist and their product still isn't what it is.
Totally.
The second thing is, rebranding can be a really powerful way to communicate that your business has evolved and changed.
Yeah.
So, in 5 years, if you spent the first 2 years of your business trying to perfect your logo, you're going to find out things that change and your demographic and your, market shifts. And you could use the rebranding as a way to talk about something deeper than just your logo looks different. So I think some people they feel like this needs to last for 50 to eternity.
50 to eternity. Eternity years.
Just 50.
It needs to be eternal.
I didn't say years. It needs to last till you're 50. No. But I don't think that's true.
No,
I think that's
definitely
a weird thing that's a weird goal.
It's something that probably people who would sell logos would tell you.
That it needs to last.
But it's just not true.
Right.
Branding is diverse and always moving. And in a later segment of this episode, we'll talk about our friend Beyonce, who just did a concert that was very cool. And a lot of her visuals were upgraded from something that she had previously, or a different take on something that she had done.
Yeah.
So if she's allowed to change herself a little bit, then
So are you.
then we're all allowed to.
Yeah. So what advice would you give someone who is battling with this idea that things need to be perfect?
What advice I would give is, well, what I would say, the other part of that comment at the workshop that I really liked, sometimes people don't pay enough attention to things. Like they don't have an attention to detail.
Yeah.
And that does come across really poorly.
Yeah. Almost like they're focusing on the
We've worked with businesses whose words of their name are spelled wrong.
True. And they don't realize it.
And then you try and correct them and they still don't believe you.
It's like selective hearing.
Selective, yeah. But I think all of that there is an excitement that you'd want a customer to have. There is a way to make a good first impression and for people to be impressed by what you're doing that does matter and you should pay attention to. I just think you should know that you're not going to think is the best, probably. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably have less resources than you have ideas. And so you've got to just do some stuff.
Yeah.
So you're going to have somebody make a website for you that isn't the best website you've ever seen.
Yeah.
But it is a great way for you to keep moving forward. So keep an attitude of always moving forward, I think, is key. The other thing is actually do pay attention. If you think something is important, then pay attention to it, but don't not move forward.
Yeah.
Don't get stuck. What about you? What have you seen that's useful for people?
I agree with you and like focus on what to be like really detail oriented about. Like our friend Simi is really successful. She's really successful. She messed up. She was saying a word on her Instagram stories that was like what I just did.
Oh, yeah.
If she's listening, she'll understand. I'll tell her to listen to this. She's really successful as a health coach. And when I redesigned her site, I was just like, I'm just creating this like really simple scripted font logo for you. And I did that with her online course that she sold out.
Right.
But she spent a lot of time creating the content for all of that.
Right.
Like creating the script for her video and the text for her website and for the course. And like she took the time to get ready for her photo shoot that I photographed.
Yeah.
You know, like there's things beyond one-off details that are a part of your brand that are important, and they all have to be thoughtful.
So preparation is do what you need to do to prepare, but then you don't need to stress out in the moment of something.
If you're selling a product, your logo is a very small part of why I buy it. And when I open it and when it gets shipped to my house, that makes a bigger impact than, oh, this logo is just like a font. You know, there's so much more. So I think of your brand very holistically and all of the things that make you excited to shop at a store or hire someone.
Right.
You know, like we go on walks all the time, and I just saw someone is renovating their house and the sign in front of the contractor is like made of wood and it's like kind of cool. And I remember thinking, that house is cute. I would maybe buy a house like that. And I'm like, am I just like interested in it because of this sign
nice.
that isn't even theirs?
Right. Yeah.
So there's a lot more that will captivate your audience than if your ex whatever is perfect.
But perfection isn't useful.
No.
I think being attention to it's not a useful.
It's also an opinion.
And it's not something to be preoccupied with. You know.
So I would say exercise your freedom as a small business owner and move on. Like just try moving on, even if you don't maybe get your logo printed on 1 million business cards. Move on to the next thing, and you might find that it brings clarity and you can make changes that are actually useful.
Truth.
So.
Agreed.
Hello?
Hey, it's producer Michael. I have a quick question for you.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, hey, I was wondering if you could introduce yourself to our listeners and then tell me a little bit about what the Diamond membership has been like for you.
My name is Jennifer Faltz, and honestly, I do a lot of things, but mostly I provide creative communication solutions for women who own small businesses. The Diamond membership is a great extension of the coaching I did with Adam in 2017. A lot of business memberships, masterminds, or networking groups are either spammy and gross or fake and rah-rah, neither of which I need in my life, which is why I typically don't join them. But the Diamond membership provides genuine encouragement, honest feedback, and authentic community. I can ask stupid questions and people will give me answers and tell me that I'm asking stupid questions, both of which are super useful.
So now we're back with our last and second segment of the episode.
Right.
What's it called, Adam?
It's called Gilding the Lily. What does that mean? Also, you love that phrase, and that's why we called it this.
Okay, yeah. So my mom used to use this phrase when you would want to put like chocolate syrup on your chocolate ice cream.
Right.
It is a common misquoted Shakespeare line, quote, I don't know, misquoted.
Rap lyric.
Which says, to gild refined gold, to paint the lily, to throw a perfume on the violet, to smooth the ice, or add another hue unto the rainbow, or with taper light to seek the beauteous eye of heaven to garnish, is wasteful and ridiculous excess. So basically, I mean, the definition is basically to embellish or improve something unnecessarily.
Gotcha.
It's extra.
But I kind of think of, extra is more of how I think about it.
Yeah.
Or I like to think of it as the most. Like when someone does something
Yes.
the most. But that's not, that's what we're talking about today.
Exactly. It's like adding something to something that us mere humans don't think you should improve, but you can.
Yeah. Right. And
Chocolate syrup on chocolate ice cream is dope.
Yeah, you're allowed to do that and it's good.
So thanks for the inspiration, Mom.
So today, on our first ever Gilding the Lily segment, we are talking about somebody who did the most. Beyonce. What most did she do?
She performed at Coachella.
She did that.
Finally.
But a lot of people have done that before.
Right. They just sort of
How did she
stand on
do
stage.
the most?
It was just otherworldly.
Let's go through a list on this segment and let's talk about some of the things that she did that were
Okay.
the most. I'll go first.
Okay.
And you can think about your
okay.
response. She never stopped for like 2 hours. And I don't care what you're doing.
2 hours is a long time.
Even if you're walking for 2 hours straight, you would be at the end of that walk kind of like feel it a little bit.
Yeah.
Or be like,
we
okay,
go on
I
a
walked.
walk. We walk like a mile and I like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you can tell I've been walking when
Especially
I talk.
the uphill part is a little like,
Right.
we got something going on. Well, I was going to say, if you stand for 2 hours, you'd be a little bit tired.
Yeah.
But she didn't just stand,
Right.
for sure.
Right.
But she also was not wearing like arch supports, probably.
Right. True.
She was hanging out in heels.
Yeah.
What other things did she do in that performance that were the most?
She had a lot of musicians and dancers.
She had a lot.
A ton. My producer Michael was at like 100, over 100.
We're going to call 100 plus.
100 plus. Mostly people of color.
Right. I was just proud as a white man to see a couple white people in there.
Yeah.
Who like snuck in there,
I'm
which
glad
was
you were
cool.
proud.
Yeah.
That's great. Proud of your people. Gosh. And Destiny's Child reunion.
Destiny's Child got together, which was cool.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z was there. Solange.
Not at the same time.
Nope.
We're still not sure. Do they talk? I don't know. What else? I mean, there's just so much. It's like really difficult to talk about it, but it's amazing.
Well, the point of wanting to talk about it was so that we would talk about it.
I know, but it's like so gilded. She is so gilded the lily that you're just.
Did someone say she changed her nails?
No, actually, those were just photos circulating of the rehearsal. I just learned from my sources.
Because I saw online someone was saying that she changed her nails.
That would be very impressive. Quick dry. Yeah.
Right. So she did that.
Yeah.
She like reworked a bunch of her music.
So much. She had some really amazing people perform dancing, you know, when she was taking the few breaks that she had. She had amazing outfits and costumes. I'm just overwhelmed.
Right.
It was amazing.
Did she ever sound like kind of like off pitch or like kind of like
no, she always
screwed
sounded
up her
great.
lyrics?
Yeah, no, always
No?
amazing. She did apparently maybe have almost a wardrobe malfunction. She was kind of preventing that.
Oh, gotcha.
Thank you, Beyonce. I feel like at any kind of performance, Coachella would be the place where you'd be like fine,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But her theme of the whole performance, I've been wanting to throw a party for like over a year and a half that was like Greek, Rush, college theme.
Yeah.
And so it was giving me like a ton of feels.
Yeah. Because we've been wanting to do that. And then,
Now if I do it, I just feel like we just have to call it like Beyonce themed, you know?
yeah.
That's fine. I'm cool with it.
I don't feel like we have to call it Beyonce themed.
Why not?
I mean, I feel like a lot of places, we're like 5 seconds away from a pretty big college that has just a
No,
lot
I
of
feel like
Greek
you
stuff.
give credit where credit's due.
For Greek letters?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. We can't not. I couldn't, in good conscience, not reference. She reclaimed it. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was amazing. If you haven't watched it, find it.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
I couldn't even think of logistically the amount of to capture all the audio from everybody.
Yeah.
There's like a ton of instruments. She had a whole marching band and like all of that was nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy. Loved it. Loved it so much. What was your favorite costume?
My favorite costume?
Yeah.
Casual hoodie.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
mine too. Yeah, that's my style.
That was just like comfy.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
But we both love a good camo
oh, we love a good camo outfit.
I don't usually wear a camo outfit, but
A camo, it was like camo but sparkly.
Yeah.
So like if you were in the jungle and trying to like stay camouflaged but had
but a
some
little
sparkles
glam.
on.
Yeah. I think really what we all need to do is just wear shorter shorts
Truth.
all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully like every week we can talk about something that was just
Over the top.
in the best way.
Yeah.
And it was great that Beyonce started this off.
We couldn't not talk about it.
Right.
And as we were preparing today, we just were like, we have to
Have to.
talk about it.
Have to.
Whether or not anyone wants to hear us, what we have to say about it.
If you don't want to hear about Beyonce, quit listening to my podcast. Seriously, turn it off.
Seriously. But
Awesome.
don't. But like stay here, listen.
Anyway, so we'll be back again in a couple days with our second episode, which we're excited about. And hopefully it just gives us the ability to talk about different things and for more concise, shorter periods of time. I'm excited.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.